Apparently, free speech doesn't really exist. The Supreme Court just ruled against the First Amendment in a shocking case that has Justice Alito saying this is unacceptable. We have so much to unpack here on Beyond the Headlines, only on Vigilant News. This segment is sponsored by My Patriot Supply, providing emergency supplies and meal kits to American patriots since 2008. My name is Elijah Schaefer. Let's start the show. Now, I do politics full time, but even I'm shocked at the Supreme Court ruling. It seems like corruption at the highest degree, and it looks like I'm not alone in my skepticism. The Daily Caller reports, blatantly unconstitutional. Justice Alito writes blistering dissent in Biden admin censorship case. Caitlin Richardson reports, Justice Samuel Alito said that the Supreme Court majority for shirking its duty to restrain the government's coercive censorship efforts in one of the most important free speech cases to reach the high court in years. The Supreme Court on Wednesday sided 6-3 with the Biden administration in Murthy versus Missouri, finding the two states and 5 individual plaintiffs lacked standing to seek an injunction against the government's wide-ranging efforts to suppress free speech online. The case concerned the federal government requested social media companies such as Facebook and Twitter to remove certain content related to COVID-19 and other hot-button issues. Many of the posts that were censored were factual, and critics argued the Biden administration attempted to censor conservative viewpoints. So essentially what's happening here is there was evidence, outstanding evidence, that the federal government under the Biden administration were approaching companies like Facebook, Instagram, to name a few, including Twitter, which was released on the Twitter files, and saying, hey, look, people like DC Drano, right? These are large accounts, right-wing accounts. We don't like the way they're questioning the election. And we're not going to write a law or create some sort of a legislative path to removing their right to free speech because that would violate the First Amendment. But okay, if you don't remove them, not only are you going to be on our shit list, but maybe we're going to audit your executives under the IRS. Maybe the FBI knows that there's some, discrepancies and you might get raided. So backdoor, they're putting pressure on these companies if they don't fall in line with the request to remove certain posts and certain accounts altogether. Now, this goes into banking. This goes into payment processing. It's not just social media, but companies like the Gateway Pundit, who had been at the receiving end of the censorship, were like, dude, this is not okay. And the Supreme Court ruled against them and said, it's not really violating free speech if the government requests companies to violate free speech. So Justice Alito wrote a dissent saying, okay, he argued the majority decision permits the successful campaign of coercion in this case to stand as an attractive model for future officials who want to control what the people say, hear, and think. And he's not inaccurate on that, okay? Jonathan Turley breaks down the frustrating anti-free speech ruling in this case on Fox News. Check it out. Here's what they had to say.
Jonathan Turley, the First Amendment, obviously you call yourself a free speech absolutist. What does this mean? If the states don't have standing, who does?
Well, it's very frustrating for the free speech community because standing is often used to block meritorious claims. This is one of the most fundamental issues that we are facing. I wrote about this issue, this case in my recent book, because you have one of the largest censorship systems in our history, if not the largest. It's been called Orwellian by lower court judges. And what the court is saying is that we won't hear you on this issue because you're not the right litigants. Now, I have to admit, I've always been something of a standing dove. I believe that these standing decisions are too narrow because they do prevent the court from rendering a decision on such important constitutional questions. So this issue will have to wait for another day. But one of the things that many of us have been arguing for years is that the government is engaging in censorship by surrogate. I testified about this in Congress, that they have made a mockery of the limits of the First Amendment by doing indirectly what they're barred from doing directly.
Yeah, and that's the main problem, is that the government's saying, okay, well, we can't legally violate your free speech, so we're like a censorship surrogate. And that's the problem with everything today, is the government has found loopholes, ways around our civil liberties, right? You have gun-free zones, And every shooting that has happened, major shooting in recent history at schools, have happened at gun-free zones. Their loopholes end up causing our suffering. Now, I have one more thing to say on that, but I want to remind you guys that because the government is finding loopholes, real Americans are preparing for emergencies right now because we know something insane is going to happen soon by getting emergency supplies and food kits from My Patriot Supply. Since 2008, My Patriot Supply has helped millions of Americans gear up for the unexpected. And I'm going to tell you today, their popular 4-week emergency food kits can't stay out of customers' carts, and you've got to get yours today so that you're prepared. Get yours right now at preparewithvnn.com, preparewithvnn.com. Each food kit offers 2,000 calories every day, plus with ultra-durable 4-layer packaging. They last up to 25 years, so you can buy them today, forget about them for decades, and they'll be there when you need them the most. Order as many kits as you need and save $50 on each one, plus free shipping included. Stock up on these essential food kits at preparewithvnn.com. Preparewithvnn.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not the only one concerned. New Civil Liberties Alliance agreed with Dr. Bhattacharya, who said the Supreme Court just ruled in the Murthy versus Missouri case that the Biden administration can coerce social media companies to censor and shadow ban people and post it doesn't like. Congress will now need to act to enforce the Constitution since the Supreme Court won't. And the Civil Liberties Alliance had agreed. Today's decision completely erases the First Amendment in the digital age. The government cannot censor people simply because it disagrees or dislikes their views. Congress must act. And that's what this is. I'd love to know your thoughts on whether you agree with the Supreme Court's decision that says, well, if the government's not directly doing the censoring, but just coercing companies, that's not against the First Amendment. I damn well think it is. Drop your comments below. And if you like this video, make sure to actually hit the like button. Plus, if you want to get more of these videos every day, you can either subscribe to our Rumble channel at Vigilant News, which I invite you to do, or on our Twitter account, same name. And if you'd like these videos direct to your inbox, you could just sign up for our newsletter at vigilantnews.com. I'm Elijah Schaefer. Thank you for watching Beyond the Headlines, only on Vigilant News. Have a great rest of the week, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.